that, you know, I think I was having this discussion with a couple of my friends in wrestling the other day, and I think wrestling needs to institute like a Logan's Run rule. And I don't know if anybody knows what Logan's Run is. It's a movie, right? You turn a certain age and they just kill you. I think wrestling needs to institute some sort of Logan's Run rule, because there's far too many people who stick around for far too long. Good and bad. You know, I don't ever want to be one of those guys. So, no. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Mom.
Hey.
I just want to say, I hope you enjoyed your time off. Very well deserved.
It was the greatest 2 months of my life.
I'm sure. But, so I wanted to ask, my question was, earlier this week was the 2-year anniversary of your famous icon promo.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering if you thought in the 2 years since that has occurred, if WWE has changed the way they present their product in any way, or what you think that promo's influence on the product they put out in the 2 years following.
I don't think it's up for me to decide. I think it's up for you guys to decide. You know, I think I talked about changing and all this other stuff, and everybody expected, you know, like, I don't know, the next week, you know, Ryan Danielson to be champion and ice cream bars and Chris Hero. You know, everybody needs to be like super patient. You know, I mean, I think there's, if you look at who was on TV back then and who's on TV now, I think it's far more interesting now. But that's, you know, it's an opinion. Everybody has a preference and a different perspective. It's not up to me, you know, you guys have to decide. And even then, maybe I had nothing to do with it, you know. I mean, there's a lot of talent that I feel I kind of paved the way for, but I would in no way take credit. They're talented. And just because I said, yes, hire this guy, or yes, put this guy on TV, it was an opinion. Somebody valued my opinion, so they asked me. They didn't base their decision solely on my opinion. You know, they just, I guess, think that I know what I'm talking about, so they, you know, they would kind of bounce things off me. But I would never take credit for anybody else's success. They're good because they're good. You know, but I think, and there's a lot of better guys coming up too, so it's going to be an interesting year. Well, I mean, the guys in the Shield, you know, I think I definitely, see, it's weird, I don't like talking about myself, but I think I definitely changed the perspective of what an indie guy can do, you know what I mean? You know, when I first started, it was, and it still almost is to an extent, you know, if you're indie, it's looked upon as like a negative. And I had this conversation with, you know, some very high up people in the company, and they're like, I had nowhere else to work. Where was I supposed to work? You know, like, I worked on the independents. That's what it was. If I could have went to, you know, like Don Owens and Portland and worked for him, I would have. But, you know, like the territories dried up. The territories are now independent wrestling. And that's, to me, I think the best guys are the ones that work that schedule and did all that. You know, a guy like Chris Jericho, a guy like me, a guy like Daniel Bryan.
First of all, you're a personal hero of mine. I really respect you and what you've done for professional wrestling.
Thank you.
And my question is, who is the most fun to wrestle in the ring and why? In the current WWE.
I think it was a lot easier to answer this question like years ago. Probably because it was always Rey Mysterio. But wrestling Cena is fun, you know, because everybody really loves him or really hates him. It just makes my job easier, you know. I think you can't deny that me and Cena definitely have some sort of like Bizarro, Batman, Superman chemistry, you know what I mean? Like, stuff just comes together when you make them in the ring. A lot of it's by accident, so that's, you know, it's nothing to do with me.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. roughly.
I was just wondering, I'm a big fan of the pipe bombs. I was wondering if you could actually drop a pipe bomb on me, right here in New York City, right now. It would be an honor, believe me.
I don't know what that means anymore.
What do you want?
I think everybody feels that word around too much. You know, it's, I don't know. What exactly do you want me to do?
Anything that comes to mind. That's all we
Here, I want you to have a cookie. Now you all know what's on the line here.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
What?
Can you hear me okay? Can I be home? Alright, so I wrote a paper on this topic in class about a year ago. I have my opinion, I want to know your opinion. Chair shots to the head, blood, pile drivers, whiskey maneuvers. These have been part of wrestling for decades.
You wrote a paper?
Yeah. My professor was a fan, so yeah. Anyway, so all of these have been part of wrestling for decades, but there are studies coming out, that are basically suggesting, don't do it. These are detrimental to your health. Do you think these attitudes that, not just in pro wrestling, but baseball, hockey, football, do you think these attitudes are, in your opinion, do you think they're progress, or do you think that, or do you think they are, in the words of some critics, the whippification of sports?
No, I think it's progress. I think there's obviously, proof, documentation, studies to back up, all the stuff we already know about concussions. And getting hit in the head with a chair is no picnic. I mean, it's pretty stupid if you think about it. Certain elements can add drama to matches and stuff like that, but I definitely think in what everybody calls the attitude era, it was overdone. So people are desensitized to it. Everybody cries about, oh, I want the attitude era back, oh, I want this, and I want that. You get hit in the head 3 times with a chair Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I wouldn't want to do that anymore. Up until 2 months ago, I started wrestling in 1997, and I never had a break. And this is through fracturing my skull and getting my elbow scoped and getting my knee scoped, and I never missed a show. I used to kind of be like, wow, that's cool, I'm tough, I'm a pro wrestler. And now I'm 34 years old, and I look at that and I go, it's stupid, because it's not worth it. I watched Dragon dive out of the ring and smash his head against the rail and get a stinger to the point where maybe both his arms were hanging. And he was pissed because they stopped the match. He was legitimately mad about it. And I had to grab him and just be like, so what? It's not, it's not worth it. It's not. What we do is dangerous. What hockey players do is dangerous. Football, everything. And it's definitely progress.
That's my opinion too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
He was supposed to win that.
I mean, just being fans, I'm not every day around there. So I'm just like from a team basis. So I watch it every day.
Who was the best to work with as a rival? Who was not best to work with as a rival? And do you think you should bring back the straight edge